What's something that as a kid you never really understood, but now that you're older, you get it?
So one time when I was 16, a boy that I liked called me up and asked me if I wanted to go take a walk up to the boardwalk with him. And I asked my parents, they said yes, and about a half hour later, the boy, who was my age, showed up at the house. He also had two of his friends with him who looked like they were about 25. And my dad, in his bathrobe and slippers, invited the boys into the house and sat them down and very politely explained to them why there was no way in hell he was letting me leave the house with them. And of course, at the time, I was like, oh my God, you're so mean. I hate you. Like, you're the worst dad ever. You said I could go. And then about like 10 years later, I was like, oh, yeah, thank you for not letting me get kidnapped or molested. Thank you. I get it. I understand. Thank you.
What's something that as a kid you never really understood, but now that you're older, you get it? Because let me tell you mine, and there's no way in hell I'm the only fucking person who gets this. That relative or cousin that was super distant with the family and never showed up to any of the family gatherings, whatever. As a kid, I was like, why don't they come? Like, they suck. They're the problem. They're horrible. Now that I'm older, I'm like, I feel you, man. I feel you, and if I could, I would. What's something that as a kid you never really understood, but now that you're older, you get it? Because let me tell you mine.
So I've always liked to cook, right? But baking has always been a little interesting. I never really got it. Like when I was a kid, I used to try to bake cakes. And one time my parents had a party and I was going to bake a cake for them. Like in the middle of the party, I'm like, I'm going to go bake a cake. For some reason, all the coats were in the kitchen. Like, I guess where all the people put their coats. And one of the coats I dropped and a little baggie of baking soda came out of it. And I was like, why do they carry a little powder of baking soda in their pockets? Maybe it's for smell. I don't know, whatever. So we were out of baking soda because I'd been baking cakes all week. So I went through other jackets and I found a bunch of baking soda, like, but all small bags. It's weird. So then I took it and I made my cake and it didn't come out the way it should have. And when I fed the guests the cake, they were all very, very angry. And then they all started asking each other and started arguing and fighting. And something about soda, like Coca-Cola. Like apparently someone stole and then they all left. But like a bunch of them are really, really mad. I just wanted to give them some cake.
What's something that as a kid you never really understood, but now that you're older, you get it?
How many times your parents are right in the end. That we do have food at home. Food at home is cheaper. And how challenging it can be to keep friends the older you get.
What's something that as a kid you never really understood, but now that you're older, you get it?
Every single time my dad told me to enjoy being a kid while it lasted. Yeah. Fast forward about 10 years, I live by myself. All my friends have moved out of town. Some are married, some have kids. I have bills, rent, phone bill, car insurance, electric, heat, water, internet, cable, you name it. I can't just sleep in until noon anymore whenever I want because I have fucking responsibilities. I can't stay up playing Modern Warfare 2 until 4 in the morning chugging Mountain Dews anymore because I have fucking responsibilities. I can't be out with my friends until 4 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday summer night drinking beers and shooting shit around a fire pit because I have fucking responsibilities. My entire childhood, I waited and waited and waited to be at the age I am now when, yeah, my dad was right. I would do anything to be 14 years old again, and I can't ever do that again. So if your parents ever tell you that, don't fucking think they're lying because they're not. They're just trying to save you.
What's something that as a kid you never really understood, but now that you're older, you get it? Because let me tell you mine.
So I remember when I was younger, I would always see these handprints on my parents' wall behind their bed or like on their bed frame and stuff. And I never understood, like, how do you get your wall dirty like that, you know? Then one day I'm picking up my room and I see handprints on my wall. They look like from grease or oil, you know, and that's when it clicked and it made sense. And I'm just like, that is disgusting. Childhood trauma. Anyways, if you don't get it, then you must be too young or immature. And for those who still don't get it, let me just demonstrate really quick.
What's something that as a kid you never really understood, but now that you're older, you get it? Because let me tell you
my dad used to always do this and it would piss me off so much, but now I get it. I'm sorry, Dad. He would be like out doing stuff, like he'd either go to work or be running errands or something like that. And then he would get home, and after like an hour or so of him being home, I would be like, hey, can we go to Sonic for a slushie? Or like, can you take me to the dollar store? I want to get something. Like, just I'd want to go somewhere. And he would be like, no, I'm done going out today. And I'd be like, what? Why do you fucking care? It's like 7 p.m. We have plenty of time before bed, and it's going to take like 15 minutes. But now I get it, because once I'm in for the day, I'm in for the day. But I'm also kind of a sugar addict. So I was about to say I would not have taken me to Sonic either. But I feel like if I was an adult and a kid was like, do you want to get a Sonic slushie? I'd be like, oh my God, let's do it.
Something that as a kid you never really understood, but now that you're older, you get.
I'm taking a different approach to this, and I'm going to preface this by saying I went to school in the 15th dumbest state and the 4th. So I wasn't taught a lot of useful information. When I was 27, my boyfriend and I were taking a trip to Alaska. My boyfriend is a cartographer and he makes maps for a living. We were in Alaska and I said, "Why is Alaska cold and Hawaii is warm?" And he looked at me. "What do you mean?" "Well, why is Alaska cold and Hawaii is warm if they're right next to each other?" "What do you mean?" I said, "On the map, they're right next to each other. So why are their climates so different?" I think my school was too busy teaching me about the Alamo that they failed to mention that this was inaccurate. We lived in Hawaii, and I got my nursing degree before I found out they weren't next to each other. And last year I found out that Russia was in Asia. While they didn't teach me much about geography or history, I'm 31, and I can still sing all the songs about Texas they made me learn when I was 5.
What's something that as a kid you never really understood, but now that you're older, you get it?
The value of a nap. Am I the only one? I could be wrong. Am I the only person that wish they could nap every day? I wish I could take a nap every single day. Sometimes I'm at work, and instead of eating lunch, I'd rather take a nap. Like, now I understand. I didn't understand that, as a child, you go lay down. Just go lay down. Man, I wish I can get some of them opportunities to nap back. I wish I can get that back. Naps. I didn't understand it then. I understand it now.
What's something that as a kid you never really understood, but now that you're older, you get it?
I have finally understood that my daddy loved my mama when I was little. See, in my mind, I thought there was a problem in the bedroom. Every time I turned around, my mama was making all kinds of noise in there, screaming, hollering. The bed was just banging up against the wall. I had no idea. I'm in there yelling, "Baba, Baba, you okay?" I had no idea. And my daddy was showing her true love. As far as I was concerned, he was trying to kill my mama. So I apologize for all the times I spit in his coffee, peed in stuff that was his, and broke things that belonged to him and that were important to him, because I just thought you was hurting my mama and you was too tough for me to handle, man to man. So I had to do dirty little shit to you. I apologize for that, and now I understand that you was truly loving my mama. So for that, I say thank you, Daddy. I love you, and Mama, I'm glad you okay.
What's a piece of information that you learned that feels illegal to know?
If you have like 6 months to spare and you email IKEA and be like, "Hey, I think I'm missing a piece of this table set," slowly, one by one, piece by piece, month by month, you get that table for free.
Tell me the most unfortunate name you've ever run across.
I have been waiting for this one. So my last name is Hiscock. Like Hiscock, like that's my government name. And I thought that was interesting until I realized my aunt's name is Sharon. So for a while, until she got married, she was legally Sharon Hiscock. And I just think about that quite frequently.
Growing up, I was always told a tattoo should have meanings. So stitch this and show me your most meaningless tattoo.
I like breakfast. A lot.